Hey everybody, welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Michael Noland, and tonight, I really hate to do it to you guys again, but we need to talk some Mötley Crüe. Now, in my last video, I covered what Mick Mars had to say about his retirement and how the band has treated him since. We covered how Mick Mars has said that Mötley Crüe has been performing to backing tracks for a while now, and that although he retired from permanent touring or incessant touring, he never quit the band, and that he would be available for new recordings if the band decided to go back into the studio, and even occasional live shows. Now, a lot of this has been documented and covered over the last couple of months, and we've discussed that from time to time here on this channel. But you know what? Mötley Crüe's response is quite interesting. Oh, it comes off quite eloquent at first, but when you really take a look at what it's saying and what is between the lines, and I'm going to go over that statement, it kind of makes you doubt the credibility of the band. Imagine that. Mötley Crüe doesn't have credibility? One can only shudder to contemplate. All right, so I'm going to go over this statement, and I got to tell you, first of all, the rhetoric that's in this statement doesn't come from the band members as far as I can tell. I've seen plenty of interviews with this motley group of individuals, and none of them sound this eloquent at all. So this comes, of course, straight from the lawyers and, again, corporate folks. They are a corporation. That's how they kicked Mick Mars out of the band to begin with. Anyway, the statement goes on to read, Mick's lawsuit is unfortunate and completely off base. In 2008, Mick voted for and signed an agreement in which he and every other band member agreed that, quote, in no event shall any resigning shareholder be entitled to receive any monies attributable to live performances, i.e. tours. All right, so let's stop there for a moment, all right? Let's take a look at that statement. What does that have to do with Mick? Mick didn't resign. He said he was retiring from constant and incessant touring, right? In his retirement statement, he also stated that he would be available to record new material and occasional shows. Nobody resigned from the band. So that little clause is being used inappropriately, in my opinion. Now, they go on to say in that same article regarding Mick, here they say that after the last tour, Mick publicly resigned from Mötley Crüe. Untrue. Despite the fact that the band did not owe Mick anything. Again, untrue. And with Mick owing the band millions in advances that he did not pay. Regarding that may be true. I don't know. If Mick owes him millions, he needs to pay it back, all right? I understand that. But I gotta also say that with this statement, I have reason to doubt that even that is true. You know, there's just too many irons in the fire at this point, right? Now, they go on to say that the band offered Mick a generous compensation package, golden parachutes, to honor his career with the band. Manipulated by his manager and lawyer, Mick refused and chose to file this ugly lawsuit. Okay, so let's back up here. They offered him a generous package. All right, Mick was worth 25% of that band. They offered him 5%. They were offering him 1/5 of what he had a right to as a member, still a current member of Mötley Crüe. All right, so now this gets really interesting because the next thing they bring up in this statement is live performances and backing tracks. Dig this. Equally unfortunate are his claims about the band's live performances. Mötley Crüe always performs its songs live, but during the last tour, Mick struggled to remember chords, played the wrong songs, and made constant mistakes. which led to his departure from the band. There are multiple declarations, and we'll get to that in a minute, from the band's crew attesting to his decline, which are, of course, attached to their statement. All right, so first of all, let's go back to that whole idea of Mick forcing the band to play live. If everything they said in this statement was true, think about this. Mick is the reason. He's the one that was making mistakes, so the band had to play to backing tracks. How is that even possible? All they would have had to do was have him use backing tracks if the band was in such great shape live. Instead, we got videos not of Mick making mistakes, but of Tommy Lee making mistakes, of Vince sounding like a croaking frog sometimes and a little bit better other times. We also discussed how Nikki Sixx said that they used backing vocals and vocal enhancements to really bring up the sound. So this portion of the statement is again an outright lie, misrepresentation of the facts as far as I can see. Now the statement goes on to say that the band tried their very best to hide these facts from the public to protect poor Mick. Aren't they just wonderful people, folks? And of course, then they later give us who are behind these so-called declarations attached to this statement. So let's go ahead and find out who's behind these declarations, all right? So let's see. The declarations referenced in the statement, which were provided by the band's reps, were written by the band's production manager, Robert Long, production coordinator, Ashley Zappar, sorry Ashley if I got that wrong, tour manager, Thomas Ritz, front house engineer, Brent Carpenter, monitor engineer, Scott McGrath, bass tech, Fred Koalo, and drum tech, Steve Morrison. There's a rogues gallery if I've ever seen one. First of all, production manager and production coordinator, they're responsible for what goes out live. The front end engineer and the monitor mixer, they're the guys responsible for mixing what you hear, and as far as I'm concerned, culpable for whether it's live or if it's Memorex, baby. Guitar techs, drum techs, and bass techs are connected to the drummer and the bass player, and they are members who want this guy out. So I don't see them as having any major credibility in a lawsuit. Let's just get down to it. These are minions, folks. That's all they are. They work for the band. They could be fired by a sneeze by any band member at any time. They were told to make these statements and they complied as always. Corporation, folks. Corporation. Now the article goes on to actually include those statements if you want to see that. It's easy to find, but I gotta tell you, every one of these guys, as far as I'm concerned, are nothing more than foot soldiers for the band. Their basic duties is to lie on barbed wire or any grenades shown so that the band may continue. Okay, so with all of that in mind, three major aspects of this statement that I see as wrong, and I'm just some guy reading the article. So my question to the tribe tonight is this. Do you think Mick Mars has a good case or not? Or are you one of those who think this latest statement by Mötley Crüe is going to fix their wagon and destroy Mick's? Either way, I want to hear what you guys have to say. And guess what, folks? People are reading the comments on this channel. Oh, and by the way, if you enjoyed the video, I always say this, don't I? But please give it a thumbs up. I always appreciate it. But it's not just the good feelies I get by seeing those thumbs up. That helps the YouTube algorithm send this video to a wider audience. And again, I do appreciate it. And if you're a viewer who's been watching the channel for some time but haven't subscribed yet, man, it is so easy. All you have to do is hit that subscribe to the tribe button, then tap that top bell icon, and baby, you are there. All right, folks, I'm Michael Noland. This, of course, is The Bottom Line, and you and I, we are the tribe. I'll see you in my next video.